statistics that I find really interesting, and they're not to be stereotypical, they can change, but in almost every profession we kind of end up with this kind of 30, 40, 30, and 30% of the world, including sales, they're just extraordinary. And this was an innate gift. It's a talent, and I call it a calling. For me, speaking is a calling, sales is a calling. If I never read a book, and it doesn't mean I can't learn things, but I've probably been selling since I was 2, selling my parents and selling my teachers, and I just get it. Things come out, I don't know where they came from, I don't know how I knew that. I would do speaking and sales for the rest of my life, probably even if no one paid me. So this is something that I have a talent for. Now, I don't have tons of talents. There's tons of things I can't do, but in many, many professions, many of us have this gift for something. And if we're lucky enough to find a job that allows us to use that gift, then that's the secret of just absolutely loving your job. So in this 30%, we are totally self-motivated. Now, I'm not self-motivated necessarily to clean the house all the time. I'm not self-motivated to cook. So I'm not a self-motivated person in all areas, but in sales and speaking, I am. No matter how bad it is, it just, when the economy tanked, it was like the biggest challenge in my life. I became more creative, more intuitive, more insightful, learned more, did more, because the challenge of facing a group of people that weren't willing to buy just spurred me on. Then we have this middle group, and basically I call that the career. That's the career. People like to sell. I mean, definitely they're probably going to spend the rest of their life in sales, and that's okay. It may not be such an innate gift or talent. They probably really love all the training, and they like to watch other people. They devour every book, and they're quick learners. They can read and watch and see. It doesn't necessarily come naturally, but they have a quick intuitive ability to learn. And it is a career for them, but motivation isn't quite as intense in sales as it might be for someone like me who gets a high off of it. I'm addicted to closing the deal. And so for them, they have to keep pushing, but they are motivatable. In other words, they're the ones that will attend seminars, or if they need motivation, they will seek out their own. They may not have it come from them innately or intuitively, but they will surround themselves with people. They will go to lectures. They'll start buying motivational tapes. They'll go to workshops. They understand and recognize when they need outside motivation, and they will do everything in their power to get it. But then, in most industries, we have a lower 20 or 30, or hopefully not 40%. And for these people, it's just pretty much a job. It's not a calling or a career. I mean, this is a job, and right now I'm selling, and when it's a job, it's pretty much about a paycheck. Self-motivation is very low, if any. But the problem is not so much that their self-motivation is low, because we could fix that like the middle group does, but they aren't even motivated to get motivated. And this is the group that likes to be the victim. This is the group that's going to blame. It's the economy, I can't sell. And I saw it in my own industry as speaking. When the economy tanked, I mean, no one wanted speakers. I mean, our industry was almost decimated. Everyone stopped having conventions. If they did, they weren't going to pay speakers. They were going to hire internal speakers. And I saw the three groups, even among people I've known for my whole life. There were those of us that dug in so deep, worked so hard. I mean, I redid my website, redid my topics, looked at what people needed, and came up with topics that people needed in a time of crisis that fit it. And in the middle group, they went and got motivated. They started joining. A lot of them called me, what are you doing to get motivated? But then there was this bottom group of speakers that just said, well, no one's hiring, no one has the money, no one's going to do it, woe is me. And they didn't invest anything. They didn't invest their money, they didn't invest their time, they didn't invest their energy. And I think with salespeople, they need to see where they are. What I would say right now to anyone in sales watching this is, if this is an innate calling and a gift, no one has to motivate you. So you didn't even need to listen to this piece. If you're in the middle group, you're going to have to figure out how to keep getting motivated. You're going to have to surround yourself, and don't surround yourself with the bottom 30%, surround yourself with us. Surround yourself with people like me that's like, this is awesome, oh my God, this is an awesome time, we can do it, and here's why. the middle people are the ones that are choosing whether to surround themselves with the top 30 that are excited and get pulled up, or to surround themselves with the bottom 30 who are negative and listen to that. And once we become naysayers, once we become victims, once we have decided that nothing we can do, we have no control, we're not in charge, then sales is going to be almost impossible, because you're not going to buy from me if I can't even sell myself on the idea that this is an appropriate product or an appropriate time or an appropriate price. So I guess look and see where you are. Was this a calling for you? Is this something you absolutely want to do and can't live without? Is this a career for you where you're going to have to constantly get some outside motivation, and that's fine? Or is this just a job? And if it's just a job, maybe there's another job. You know, look at what you love, and maybe there's a job where you don't have to constantly be the victim. Maybe there's a job that involves so many of your innate strengths and talents that self-motivation comes naturally.